Time to catch up with a little spring football here on the Navy Sports Magazine with offensive lineman Evan Martin. And for you all as a collective group, there are jobs up for grabs. There is great competition within that room right now. What is every day like for you all? Because coaches are going to go back and watch the film and see how each guy is doing as you all progress toward fall camp.
I think the biggest thing is we're trying to work on collectively being a team and trying to find a leader within our own ranks. I think everybody's working really hard on a day-by-day basis. Coaches are really trying to critique us individually, but also collectively as well. And we're trying to hold each other up to the standards that we know we can come to. But since there's so much inexperience amongst each of us, a lot of guys are really just doing the best they can, trying to get their positions, trying to get themselves on the roster. So it's just been a pretty wild time.
You guys had an unbelievable group of leaders in that room last year. What do you take from that group that you can apply to yourself individually, but then maybe where you see potential to speak up in the room if y'all are watching film, or you see somebody with some habits that aren't very good out on the field, where you feel comfortable enough to speak up like those guys did when they were out on the practice field?
In the meeting room, we're usually pretty quiet. Coaches are the ones who really are the critiquing because that's their job as a coach. We just stay quiet, listen, accept criticism, answer questions. On the field, when we see someone not running through the line or not not giving the effort that we know we're supposed to give, especially like the older guys who've traveled, we'll always snap them like, hey, run through the line. Hey, make sure you run through that play. Finish your block. We know the standards. We just need to keep each other and ourselves accountable to do the same thing.
I was going to say, because what's going to happen. Coach is going to hold all of you accountable if one person is not doing it. Again, to go back to this past senior group, what did you learn from them that you can apply now? Because let's face it, it's probably the most effective group as a unit this option has ever seen, and obviously the results bear the pudding with 11 victories. What do you learn from that group that you can now apply and try to earn your spot and your playing time out there with 2 more years to go?
Personally, I really like watching E.K. Benz. He was, in terms of just knowing the game, he was a fantastic, athlete in terms of understanding how things work. So I'm really trying to understand the offense the same way he did. I like the toughness of Joey and the toughness of Ben and Blake and Blaze and Brandon. They're all really just tough guys. EK was also a really smart guy. So my biggest thing is always trying to give the extra effort, because in my mind I'm thinking I'm not like a second player. I'm not a second string anymore. I'm the man that this team depends on at some point, and everybody has to have that same mentality. We all want to be the guy that the team depends on.
A lot of times we associate offensive linemen with just raw power and raw strength, but how much technique and detail goes in to playing your position? Because as we've all seen, if just one guy out of 11 doesn't do their job, it can break the whole play down.
Yeah, there's a lot of technique that goes into it, because it's kind of a different transition. Coming from high school, if you were just bigger than somebody, just more athletic, you can get away with it.
Right.
But on this level,
you just try block them and knock them down, really.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But on this level, we're going against guys that are honestly just bigger than us. Like Notre Dame, Tulane, those are some of the biggest guys I've ever played football against. And they're in order to be someone like that, you have to stay low. You have to you have to know where you're going and be confident enough in yourself when you get there. And the biggest thing is firing off the ball. That's probably the big difference maker between us and most other teams we play.
What kind of a taxation does it put on your body? Because it is a different blocking skill, as you mentioned. Your first job in many places to get lower than, as we talked about with the Tulane guys, you're looking at 5'11", 6 foot, 345, 350 in some cases. What are the challenges of getting down and getting below a guy like that who obviously strong player? We saw terrific football from those guys on the interior last year.
Yeah, it's a challenge because they kind of have leverage. In my case, I'm like 6'2", 6'3". So getting low is something I really have to work at. The biggest thing is going to be repetition. It's going to hurt. My shoulders might hurt a little bit after practice, but that's just the name of the game. My knees might hurt a little bit, but that's also the name of the game. The biggest thing is just mental toughness. Like Jake Zuzek was one of the toughest players I've ever seen play. Man's knee basically exploded in VMI. Not like in terms of destroyed. He had bursitis in his knee and played through it. And his one piece of advice that I kind of take to heart was, don't be a punk. You gotta run through the play. I mean, no matter what, like don't make them pull you off the field. You're not gonna give up.
For you all, there will be people, prognosticators outside the program who will automatically assume that this program is just going to take a step back because of the quality of the senior class you all are graduating. Does that drive you all at all, because you know that people are out there saying, hey, you all are not going to be able to achieve the level that you all achieved this past year?
It drives us a lot. I mean, honestly, every year, I mean, even the senior class that passed, I mean, going into the season, there was a lot of doubts amongst our position. And the year before, there was a lot of doubts amongst the O-line position. And this year, there's more doubts. So for the O-line, it's nothing new. I mean, people say, oh, you got a new group, a lot of inexperienced guys. And our thing is we got to come out and be who we know we are. I remember Tago was telling me once, it honestly makes him mad, but he doesn't really say anything. He just goes to work every day. There's no reason to get visibly upset, because that doesn't make anything like better. It just means you have to work that much harder, maybe to prove to other people and also prove to yourself that you're capable of doing what you know you're capable of doing. Because
of the unique practice situation here at the academy, you've been in huddles with Tago. What are people getting with number 2 out on the field this coming season?
He's a pretty good guy. I mean, Keenan, he was brilliant to where he knew everybody's position. I remember once I was supposed to pull on a play, and at the time I'm a young sophomore who barely knew the offense, and he was like, hey, Evan, make sure you get around the corner. I was like, wait, what? How did you know that? And Tago, I'm not saying he doesn't know that, but he just plays it just differently. He's just not as vocal of a leader, but he'll still make adjustments, and he'll still see okay, he's back. Something's happening. Backers are lined differently. He'll check the play, and we'll make calls, and he'll check plays here and there. He's just a calm, consistent dude. Making a lot of noise isn't really his thing.
For you all playing the offense that you do, when you see it achieve the things that it achieves, is there that little extra sense of satisfaction, just because there are not a whole lot of teams that do what you do? It's not glamorous enough for them. But yet, in the end, the only thing it's about is getting W's, and you got 11 of them last year. Does that give you a sense of satisfaction that you all are able to take this unique offense, execute it, and do the things you're able to do with it?
What gives me the satisfaction, honestly, is just being able to do it with my brothers. I mean, it's a hard style offense. It's real hard-nosed, real pack a punch, real go at them, don't ever give up type of offense. But the fact that all of us have that never say die mentality, we do it for each other. Whenever we win games, it's always just a big deal. We're always really happy and really proud of each other. It always makes me proud to watch EK and Tambo and Joey and them when we beat Memphis. Watching them play that game was amazing, because I know those guys. I had personal investment in their success. And when we have success, it's man, that's awesome. I'm glad we did it together. And I mean, if it was a different offense, I don't think it would have made much of a difference. I'm just glad to be on the team.
I'd say when you came here, it was still off in the distance. You knew they told you about the Commander-in-Chief's things. You knew it was big to beat Air Force, beat Army. You're going to play Notre Dame and things of that nature. But what was it like to have that first year within the conference where you all could pick up either the newspaper or look on the internet the next day and look at standings and see Navy's name within the confines of the American Athletic Conference? What kind of dynamic did that add to you all as a team?
All it did was add to goals we were trying to achieve, because every year we have the goal that we got to be Air Force, we want to be Army, we want to get that CIC, we want to get a bowl game, and we want to get so many wins. Well, now we want to win conference. So we got to take every conference opponent very, very seriously. And that's really all it did for us. I mean, I guess it kind of narrowed our focus, but not really. I mean, we work hard every day. No 2 games are we don't take anything lightly. Whether we're playing Colgate, or we're playing Houston, or we're playing ECU, or we're playing Notre Dame, you got to prepare just as hard every week, because football is football and anything can happen.
All right, great stuff, big fella. Continued success with what remains of spring practice, and we'll see you in the fall.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, Evan Martin joining us here as the Mids, wrapping up spring practice and getting set to concentrate on fall work. Opener September 3rd. It'll be here before you know it as they take on the Fordham Rams. You can get your tickets now for the 2016 football season by going to www.navysports.com.